inauguration, the 7th of January 2025,
right.
You know, what he said and what he promised the people of this country. Remember, President Mahama has been given 1,460 days, out of which he has already expended 360.
Oh, it's gone?
Yeah, it's 368 days. So we have about 1,092 days for him to go. And so for you...
No 30.
No 30, no, that one is out of it. That one, no 30. If anybody is harboring that, if he's going to have 30, when are you going to be the president?
He doesn't want to be part of the
Absolutely. So really, at the inauguration, the president mentioned 4 areas that he was focusing on.
Yeah.
He said he was going to stabilize the macroeconomic environment, which was very necessary. The GTP that we represented to him when he won the elections, we had said that anybody that won election 2024, the key issues to deal with was the economic or the macroeconomic environment. You can't have a country where the inflation was to the roof. And if Janet is downplaying the effect of inflation, then I'm very surprised, because as we speak, if you go to Tehran, Iran, the people are bent on taking out the government. And you know the reason? They say inflation has gotten to 40%. Remember, Mahamadu Bawumia and Akufo Addo took us to 54%. So if Iranians were Ghanaians, if at 40% they are chasing the president out, 54, what would they have done? They would have bent them. They would have bent them. So you cannot downplay it here. In 2022, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, you know, the Sri Lankan president, the Gen Zs, they forced him out. Why? Because inflation was 52%. So the Ghanaians' resilience levels cannot be downplayed. And for me, if today inflation is at 5.4%, and as a director of communication of the United Party, why would I come and sit here and say the president has not and the government has not done well? In any case...
why are you blaming Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia and the NPP for that? They say there were external shocks, which so many reports have pointed.
That is even the most ridiculous. No, don't ever entertain it. You see, the fight between Ukraine and Russia is at the all-time high. It has heightened more than ever. Are they not still fighting?
Yeah, but...
When lazy minds are leading this country, they find all sort of beautiful nonsense to support any unseriousness. Are they still not fighting?
Yeah, but maybe it started when...
It started when? So we are still in the same equation. Same factors. Remember last year, we experienced COVID. Well, you were in this country. Yeah. One University of Ghana, Lagos, said they were restricting people movement. So this administration has also faced the very issues that confronted...
but not as magnificent as...
No,
no, not as big, I should say, as COVID.
As we speak, America has entered Venezuela.
Yeah.
That has the highest oil deposit, 303 billion barrels. Can you imagine if it was the NPP that was in power? This would have been an avenue to say that, yes, that's why the city is going up. Everything, it must affect us. But you see, you must not buy this argument, because when it comes to food, do you know that Ghana is a net exporter of crude? So if the prices of crude is going up, it means you have to benefit from it, because we are also exporting crude. If anybody comes to give you this excuse, what it means is that they do not respect.
So when President Akufo Addo was giving you free water and free electricity, you enjoyed it in silence.
He never gave anybody free water.
Oh, you did, but you got. I mean,
no.
They give you
people
you
your face and told us that they put 54 million Ghana cedi worth of food. 54 million Ghana cedi worth of food. In the Bible, when Jesus fed the multitude, he didn't even quote that 54 million. These people, small, they went to cycle, sell some 1 or 2 half-baked food, and they sell 54 million.
So how can you say that?
These people, what they have done, you see, they
So I'm saying to you, that when President Akufo Addo gave you free water...
He never gave me free water.
And electricity, you enjoyed it. You were silent about that.
President Akufo Addo never gave us free water. Because my bill was still the same.
So are you saying that there was never a policy where people were giving free water?
They only announced it, but never implemented it.
My bill, enjoy that?
My bill was always the same. And I can bring you all my bills. If you are going to give me 15 minutes, I'll rush to the house and go and bring the bills.
So who took the electricity and the water?
Nobody. That's why I told you that. They came to tell you that they cooked 54 million Ghana worth of food. Did you eat some? Jenna, did you eat some? Did you eat some?
The vulnerable.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm not a vulnerable.
No,
I could
you are not vulnerable. You are
vulnerable. It wasn't for everybody.
Yeah.
I can.
Did you eat some?
Political.
No, Ivan, did you eat some?
I had my own.
Audience, did you eat some? Did you eat some? Did you eat some? Did you eat some? This guy never had some, but because of cheap politics, he said, I enjoy. What did you enjoy? Did you eat what? So the people came to deceive the minds. The president, John Mahama, goes to inauguration and tells the entire country that when I come, I will stabilize the macroeconomic environment. And true to that, inflation is down, exchange rate is down, fuel prices are down, debt to GDP is down, we have, reserve position improved. Why would I come and say that the president hasn't done well?
Listen to the analysis of Janet. Janet says, look, you are doing all of these things, but the prices on the market, it's not reflective of that.
First of all, we are operating a free market enterprise.
So we allow them to abuse this?
No, you see, we are a consumer market. In the same way, you say, it depends on where she's even buying.
Okay.
And I'm not going to begrudge of the figures that she's churning out.
You feel she's buying from a different market?
Maybe, because I have also seen people, and I also buy things that the prices have reduced.
What has reduced? What are you buying at the price?
No, cement.
Cement.
Cement has reduced. I buy cement. It has
As in the
reduced.
figures?
Yes, it has reduced. But I will not be glad, because you go to market, there are two set of people selling. If you decide to go and buy from, in fact, Coca-Cola, you know Coke, it's sold outside like, say, is it 5 or 10 cities? Okay. And when you go to a club, they sell in 100 cities. It's a choice. You understand? And that is why we must be very careful.
But Janet is asking, how many Ghanaians can afford, cement? She says it's not, basic necessity.
It's not a basic necessity.
No, but the point is that, you see,
if you don't have money,
it would have been worse. The understanding of inflation. What is inflation in the first place? Inflation is the general price level.
The rate at which
it increases.
Yeah, right.
So it would have been worse if you were still under the old regime.
Yeah.
Now, the other things that she said has to do with policy directions. I agree that if the government is doing well at the macro level, there has to be implementation committee.
Yeah.
A sector like the transport sector, any serious economy, you don't allow GPRT to be
take advantage.
You go to Singapore, they have Land Transport Committee Authority.
Yeah.
They determine how prices are fixed. You go to UAE, the state itself is running the taxi.
So if you are rating the president on percentages, what are you giving the president?
I'm not a fan of percentage, but because it's like I said, he has been given 1,460 days. And he has, but the point is that the first year has been phenomenal. Has been phenomenal. And it is how you see, no Ghanaian must wish that his president fails. Because when the president fails, it is all of us that have failed. When the SWL administration...
But when Akufo Addo fails to manage...
We were helping Akufo Addo. You see, what people do not understand...
You're not picking and choosing. You are
under President Akufo Addo's regime. I remember 2018. I was on GH1 when they were about to start the National Cathedral. That time I was a National Communications team member of the NPP. Right. I went on it and I said, look, Mr. President, what you are going to do will destroy your administration.
Oh, you told him?
I told on air, the videos are there. At that time I was a National Communications team member. When I left the studios, the flag people, and I said, look, I was not taken to school to be following nonsense. Excuse my French. Now, what has been the main nemesis of the SWL administration? The hole is still there. So when you belong to a political party and that party is doing something that is not good for the image of the country and the party, voice out. That will shape your party. But you see, we have been cowed into submission. There is a fear that when you are within a political party, you must not. They say, don't wash your dirty linen outside. If you don't wash your dirty linen outside, how will people see that it's not clean?
So the president has done well. Ivan, you agree?
Please, Bless.
Okay.
Bless. He says something about the cement.
Yes, cement.
It's true.
But it's a fact, yeah?
Are you aware?
But if it is true,
are you aware that?
No. Are you aware? Don't let her waste time here.
When
she's wasting your time.
When that cost 1,200, it's now 4,500. And I have evidence.
What's costing?
rent that used to cost 1,200
rent.
It's now 4,500.
Demand and supply situation.
Okay.
Demand and supply.
Ivan, let me come to you.
Conditions of Ghanaians have become
I get that.
I didn't say what I said is true. What were you debating?
I'm just telling you that it's not.
Rent is also going up. Okay.
Rent is going
all right.
up.
Let's listen to Ivan. I'll get back to you. Yeah, I'll get back to this.
Blessed. Let me say Happy New Year to our listeners and viewers across the country and to everyone here. I think 1 year of President Mahama, for me, if you want to do a very dispassionate political analysis, devoid of partisan influences or whatever, you might start by looking at where we were
in the past.
To be able to track your progress as a human being, you need to take a step back to identify or to realize where you were, and you look at your current situation. In between that fine line, that is where you'll be able to tell whether you've made a progress or not. Prior to the election, we all saw the circumstances in this country, the sort of outcry in the public. The economic space, I think the economy was actually described as junk by reputable credit rating agencies around the world, to the extent that we could not even get out there to borrow because the economic figures were so dirty. We had no other option than to rush to IMF for a certain bailout.
Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia brought the gold for reserves policy. It saved us. It brought some oil into the country. I mean, we're almost
you see,
turning the corner.
If you look at the picture out there, it is not me telling. It's a revealing story that was across the country, to the extent that we were actually sending emissaries to go out there and negotiate on our behalf because we defaulted on our external debt obligations, and even internally we defaulted because the DDEP came in and individuals who have sent their money to bank, the government forcefully took it over. People complained, but at the end of the day, it didn't materialize. We were on the, how do you call it? We went to the Eurobond, floated a lot of bonds. Within a short period of 4 years, we had at about $11.2 billion. At the end of the day, we defaulted. We had to postpone, and now the government has resumed paying. So the fact of the reality of the situation was that the situation was really terrible in terms of the economic figures. Solo has mentioned the numbers, and these are very key because if you go back to 2012, when the Arab Spring started, some of these key indicators actually gave rise to some of the
being extreme. I mean, Ghanaians are peace-loving people. We love to use the ballots, but you guys are citing example. Iran.
Yes.
Is that not true?
They are wearing suits and playing by the bush. They like their living.
Russians are peaceful people.
This is a democratic government. They are wearing suits and wearing using boots to rule.
But are you living on a different planet or in a different country?
This country.
You see,
in this country.
So I'm telling you.
I'll give you the time.
Yes, I'm telling you this to rationalize where we are, which has been downplayed by a lot of people because people don't see the essence of Ghana having a single-digit inflation number. People don't see why we should have a 45% debt to GDP. Our external debt component has dropped almost 100 billion because of the cedi. And are you aware that in 2024, according to Bloomberg, our currency was the worst performing currency among 133 currencies that was tracked by Bloomberg? We were only ahead of the Russian, how do you call it, the ruble, and you know why. Even the most useless currency around the world, which is the kwacha, the Zambian kwacha, was ahead of Ghana. But in the middle of this year, per the same Bloomberg, Ghana cedi became the best performing currency. And for the first time in 30 years, the cedi posted 41% appreciation, which according to Bloomberg, since 1994, they started tracking currency. We have never seen that appreciation. So for me, these are the clear indicators giving you the certain semblance of hope that where we were, we are not out of the woods, but a certain radical transformation is happening for us to build on as a country.
Then you should side with Janet when she says it's not over yet. Ghanaians are not really feeling the impact of
it will be crazy for anybody to just say where we are out of the woods. You understand? It's a process. That's what I'm saying. John Mahama is not a magician. He just took over from this started economy, and all of a sudden you tell a story that the whole problem has been solved. No. it will be building up gradually, because some of the rating agencies have come back home. They are rewriting their books. Ghana today is becoming a bit credit worthy, and as it stands now, we are not going out to borrow, because with the gold board intervention, at least a certain substantial amount of money has been infused into the system, and that has given certain relief to the commercial banks. I listen to a lot of people who say, oh, they are pushing money into the system, and the money is getting lost. You see, I think sometimes we must be very careful in order not to advertise ignorance in public, because you see, when they say central bank is shoving up the city, they don't just, the central bank is not a charity organization that goes and say, I have dollars, come and take it. No. Because our reserve, we have exceeded the limit that, according to the IMF negotiation that we had extra. The central bank had a lot of cash reserve in the form of dollars. The commercial banks are not having. So it's just a matter of selling those dollars to the commercial banks and take out whatever equivalence, whether CD or, and that has actually resulted in the number of the kind of
IMF. That same IMF is saying we are making losses.
No. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is a different thing. I'm talking about the gold board intervention.
Yeah.
Into this economy. Yeah. $10 billion.
We're not saying gold board is making losses.
Yes.
I'm just saying, but IMF on the other hand is saying that the central bank is making losses.
You see, if you look at
the positive.
Hello.
Okay.
If you look at the IMF report, the funny thing is that people quickly just wanted to create something and insert it on gold board. But I have read the report. It's about 130 something page document. There is nowhere in that report where they said gold board has been running a loss.
I get that.
But you see, the gold for oil intervention that was introduced in 2022 by Dr. Bawumia, just go and track that particular policy intervention, because the reason why we went for that particular option was that we didn't have dollars at the time. The dollar was rising ahead of the currency. We were virtually in crisis. Then they decided if that is the case, then we don't have the dollar. We could not go to the external market to borrow. We relied on external, internal people who have given their money to bank. They suck all the CDs. Now you don't have dollars. Then what do? Then they said, okay, let us start buying gold.
Yes.
So that we send it outside in exchange. We get, how do you call it? We are able to buy oil.
But they were trading through the bank of...
Exactly.
Yes.
But that particular intervention was as a result of a crisis that has arisen at the time. It wasn't meant to generate income. So when they went to the ground to buy gold, they bought it at a rate that was eventually going to give us a loss. So if you go to the Bank of Ghana audited account, you realize that the 2022, when the policy was introduced, we ran a loss of 2.15 billion Ghana cedis. The following year, it was 4.85. So in between the 2 years, the numbers were almost $7 billion. That tells you that the whole idea was infusing a certain amount of dollars into the system. But ask yourself, was it able to intervene the situation? Because the dollar was still rising. So that tells you that if Bank of Ghana is continuing the same initiative, then the probability that that particular loss or occasion is quite obvious.
Okay, but we are making the trading laws, and yeah, for now in this administration, we are seeing some level of better performance of the CD.
Yes.
Jenny's point is that look, that's not trickling down to the average Ghanaian who voted for the president.
That depends how you say it. But I'm trying to explain how this infusion has brought all the indicators down.
Yes.
And that eventually is having impact on the life of people.
How? On paper?
No, it's not just on paper. No, that is a very narrow accusation.
I'll give you the time.
Janet says she is not an ordinary person.
Yes.
She is a bourgeois.
I never said that.
You said it. When you're going to discuss that, you're going to be telling. Why do you change your mind?
Don't say something I never said.
Ordinary.
I said vulnerable people in society.
That is even good.
I'm not vulnerable.
That is even good.
Yeah.
You are not vulnerable.
Yeah.
How do you know that people are not benefited down there? How do you know that those that you describe as vulnerable?
I'm not talking about that.
Experience.
Exactly. So you are not.
I have not said that. I'm saying that when I go to buy things, I see the amount.
But Janet,
you see, Janet, you know what?
Solomon is saying, just hold on.
Yes.
Solomon is saying that you don't belong to the class that
Not
you're
like I don't
speaking for,
belong.
because
I'm
you're
not,
saying
because
that this is about the ordinary Ghanaian.
Some of the things, our people took it, and we saw them using it.
Yes.
You see,
Yes.
and they will say that you, this household, no, you are better off.
Yes.
I won't give
but
you.
you get this analysis that
No, I'm
because
getting this
you're
analysis.
not there, you
no,
don't feel how the people.
I saw it.
How did you see?
Because I
how
saw
did you
them.
see?
We were
How
informed.
did you see?
We were informed.
Anyway, Ivan, I'll come back.
At that time, you were not an important person,
Okay,
so they didn't tell you. At that time, I was the National Women's Organization.
So you have always been important person.
Oh yes, in politics.
So now the challenge that we were having, the challenge that we were having with the inflow of this FS, with this FS to this certain extent, then if you look at the larger policy option or the larger policy outcome, the objective is to ensure that we get this inflow, and it has come to stabilize. And I'm telling you, it's the reason why today Bank of Ghana can confidently take money and tell the commercial bank, hey, come for dollars when people come, and that has stabilized the currency. And that has a trickling down effect on almost every sector, because once you're able to stabilize your currency at the microeconomic level, a lot of things will be taken care of. As
you remember, you don't take the average trotro that someone is taking.
I do take trotro. I do.
And I reduce the prices?
But I know that you drive.
But you see, it will be a very.
Are you not making things up because you don't do it on a daily? Someone who does it on a daily.
It will be a very narrow appreciation. So just look at trotro and make such a
bring something that the ordinary.
I am not here to bring any. But I'm telling you, it's very narrow to appreciate.
Is not about
appreciate that because trotro has not reduced, and for that particular reason, the economy. No, when you're doing serious political analysis, you just look at the indicators, the numbers, and you can do the tracking down. Very often we all advocate.
Okay, so the last time you took trotro.
Okay.
Solo, I'm not sure Solo has done that. Solo, you're also taking the two of you are today.
You know a typical Ghanaian attitude.
Ivan has taken more time than anyone.
No.
You spoke for 15 minutes. I started.
You are even interjecting.
Ivan,
I saw this.
Okay, so I'll get back to you.
Today I want to play.
Ivan, the last time you took trotro, what was the experience? Janet, I'll give you the time.
Okay.
Janet, I'll give you the time. The last time you took trotro, how was it like? In terms of the pricing?
Oh, I think it was normal. What we've been paying, you understand?
So you're also agreeing, are you?
Oh, yes. You see, actually, I haven't been tracking. But you see, I am not looking at the economic impact in terms of trotro. That would be a very narrow appreciation, you understand? That's why I'm saying that you just need to look at it from a larger perspective, you understand? Somebody mentioned that he's a student and some relief have come. And there are several people, there are people who also see this cement, iron rod, kind of way as their daily something. You think it is not a daily thing, but to somebody it's a daily thing. So there are several facets that you can analyze it from. If you want to do proper tracking down analysis, yes, we may argue that there are some people who are unwilling, and that is quite sure, because in a democracy sometimes you can't put gun to the head of people and force them to reduce. But the fact is that at the larger level, things are really getting better, and for me that is something that we need to celebrate. So this whole intervention by the president, for me, I think it has really generated this kind of sense of hope for Ghanaians. And if you look at other areas, until recently, corruption became so much institutionalized.
So what rate will you give the president in terms of performance?
I don't want to give a certain percentage, but I just hope that we'll be able to build on, because all that we want is the realization of the Ghanaian dream. And I think with the president, he is focused on building this particular economy, and for me, that is what I'm for.
What matters. Janet and Solo, I'll come to you. I think there are some burning questions for you guys from the back there. And come on, let's go to the gentleman at the back, because I was going to give him the opportunity. Because you were going to make a point quickly. And
thank you very much, Mr.
So be brief, so I can come back to Solo and the others. Yes.
I think that from the submissions we've seen from our very respectable panelists, one thing that runs across is how economic performance is going to trickle down to ordinary people. And really, that's a righteous point to make, because a good economic performance that really does not touch the vulnerable people in society is as good as a bad economy. And so, to the extent that there is some level of evidence to show that the good economic performance that we are seeing is not trickling down to the good people of Ghana, I think that we have to all join in the chorus in making sure that we see a solution to it. But what's the solution really? There is no really free economy across the world. If there were a free economy, then what's the purpose of a government in the first place? So I believe that to the extent that the government is allowing a free market economy to pan out in a country, there must be some level of fetters.
So you feel we should crack the whip on GPRTU and
particularly GPRTU, because transport fares really goes down to affect every other thing in the economy. And one other thing, even aside that, is that not every commercial driver affiliates with the GPRTU, because and as a result of that, you may have GPRTU even asking its members to reduce prices or transport fares, but you will still have some elements across the transportation sector who will still be keeping their prices so high. And we saw an evidence of that in the previous administration. It got to a point, government called on them to reduce prices, GPRTU heeded, but we still had some drivers doing that. So the point I'm essentially trying to make is that let's get to a point where governments can be able to get some sector players to be able to manage their operations in order that it can help the ordinary Ghanaian.
But on a scale of 10?
On a scale of 10, 6 will do.
Okay, for
6
the president.
will do, exactly. Particularly on the basis of the underperformance of the budget estimates. Because, for instance, the sector where some of us have interest, which is the energy sector, looking at PIAC, for instance, PIAC tells us that out of a budget that they presented, an estimate that they presented for the finance minister to take into consideration, they gave them only 21%. And even out of that 21%, it was just 40% that was allocated to them by the end of the year. And this is a cause for worry. So I think that to that extent, 6% would be a fair assessment.
Yes, there's a gentleman behind you. Yes, briefly, yes. Be snappy about it. Yeah.
Thank you, Blessed, for the opportunity, and a happy new year to all of us here. My point is that what shall it profit us to have macroeconomic indicators if it's not trickling down to the ideal personality in the country? Yes, we may have stability, and it's obvious because when you track economic records from 2008, we had same. 2017, people were jubilating, and this time. So it's like almost every first year of the new government, we tend to have stability. But then the issue is that after the first year or second year, what happens? When we start constructing roads, when we start building, when pressure comes on ministers to deliver, what happens? Because almost all the sectors of the economy, the service, the agri, and then the industry, we cannot say the country is having hold of any of them. It's in the hands of foreigners. So the very moment, and then we are gambling our economy on what is happening elsewhere. So today, if the gold market crashes, what can this government say that we've done to the economy? We've bundled all our hopes on the gold. Now, should gold prices plummet, what happens? So I think going forward, we should build our fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? If you are holding on to industries, agri, services, then we know that on any day, if one sector is not happening, at least we can hope of getting the other sectors. But we cannot pinpoint and say that this sector is the country as a whole is having
on a scale of 10?
It depends on the sector. Because general maybe 7.
Oh, 7.
It's fairly good because it's expected of a new government to create stability. But after the first year or second year, that's when you get to know the real truth of the economy.
The gentleman in front of you has been burning to say something. Yes, just a minute.
I have a question for Solomon and Mr. Ivan.
Solomon, yes.
Like the way we are all saying, we know about 80% or 70% of the average Ghanaians do buy food outside. And I know Mr. Solomon and Mr. Ivan, you also do buy food outside. Now let's compare the prices of food during the erstwhile government when inflation was higher, and now I know you all don't cook at home every day when you go out. You want to know the difference. How is it now? Price of food and water, because that's what we need most. Even shelter, rent, and other things. That's what we need most. So we want to know if you buy food outside.
I know not all of us can cook at home. Not all of us. But if you go to Mokola, Agbogbonoshi, Katamanto, and the rest, those there do not cook at home. They come out and buy food outside. We want to know the price of food now and then. We are talking about inflation. We should be real to ourselves.
Okay.
The average Ghanaians are suffering.
All right.
They are still suffering.
On a scale of 10 for you?
Blessed.
Okay.
Blessed. I have. I want to draw Ivan's attention.
Since note down your concerns. Just note down
Ivan was so much fixated about.
It's about food. I'll remind you. It's about food. Yes.
About Bloomberg. This is under Nanado, former President Nanado. This is Ghana Web. 3rd February 2020.
Yes.
Ghana cedi is the best performing currency in the world against the US dollar. Bloomberg, the same Bloomberg. And I don't think you can contradict yourself again.
Yeah.
Talking about rises of items, even though we have stability, this is Oliver Vomewo, I think.
Yeah, Baka.
Yeah. How is on GH1? How is the economy doing better if prices are being increased everywhere?
So
now, but the bottom line of all the argument is that I acknowledge in my statement that we have single-digit inflation. The cedi is stabilized, but it's not trickling down. So that is the so I've answered you. Now, Blessed, we talked about the GPRTU.
Yeah.
You said the GPRTU praised government
at some point.
At some point,
they did a press conference. You know about that already.
This is City News, City on City FM. That is 8th January 2026. Lower fuel prices not enough for fare reduction. So in summation, we are saying that even though we are seeing all these indicators, fuel being reduced, it's not trickling down to the ordinary Ghanaian, because the ordinary Ghanaian sits in Trotro. He doesn't sit in Land Cruiser. Therefore, if prices are not going down, we know how it affects food pricing and on the market. So these are the things we have to come to the realization that you can't say you have positive indicators. I go down to the market to buy things and I see increases, and then you still tell me to praise the government. Now ask me of the rating. Let me give you.
Overall rating.
Overall rating is 4/10.
Oh, come on. But you just said the president did well with the forex and
so that is a 4/10 I've given.
Let me give you the take and then we close the
Good morning to you all.
Yes.
Happy New Year. For me, I can say the government has done quite very well. But the main point for every government is to make sure that every citizen benefit from their government or their administration. See, all the government is doing is very great, but then they should find a mechanism or a system whereby the policies that they are putting in place, the ordinary Ghanaians can feel it, can know that, okay, this is what the government is doing. For me as a student,
your lived experience.
Okay, for me,
saying you received. Your colleague was just talking about how you were all happy when you received the.
Okay, I'm in level 300.
Free policy. Okay, you are.
Yeah, I'm in level 300, so I don't
receive the amount.
No, I didn't receive that. So talking about prices of fuel, we all see that the city has actually reduced.
So you didn't benefit from that.
No, I didn't benefit from that. So is any time you take car or transportation, the prices are still the same. And you ask drivers that fuel have been reduced, and they will tell you that. So what? So the government should find mechanisms or systems where the policies that they are putting in place can actually take effect, so that we, the ordinary Ghanaians, we know that, okay, this is what the president is doing. Not that we see it on online. It's true that the government is doing well, but on the ground, we don't feel it.
But don't you think that the GPRT people should also do something about the prices?
Okay, with that, the government should be the one putting pressure out there. So if you, the president, you are making sure that the fuel reduces, and there's someone there trying to tarnish your image, you should call that person out and put them to work. Okay, this is what I'm doing, but you are not making my work to be filled at the ground. So the government has to put mechanisms, put people on ground, so that every day there is a report on what is going on, so that we can actually feel it, not just hearing it or seeing it online.
You know that what I'll say? I'll just appeal to GPRTU at this moment. I think they should reduce the prices. Janet, you agree with me? There are some messages coming through. Let me just read them briefly so we move on. Isaac from Ho is telling us that, Blessed, I entreat you and others to start visiting provision stores, stationery, bookshops, boutiques, and others, and that you will stop glorifying the so-called single-digit inflation that could be seen on paper but not on the ground. That's from Isaac, watching us from home. This one is also coming through from Garu Timpanis from Big Alaska. He says that, please ask my sister Nabla for me. Has she bought a bag of rice during Christmas? That's the question from Garo for you. He says that how much is a bag of maize in her area? I'm a farmer and I need buyers to buy my maize, but no one is doing so. During the NPP era, a bag of maize was 1,200 Ghana cedis. And today, in Garo market, he's saying, and I've not verified this, he's saying that in Garo market, you can get a bag of that same maize at 300 Ghana cedis.
That's what he said. So how come that...
That's his claim.
No, how come...
I'm saying I've not verified that, by the way.
So how come that prices of flour, corn flour, in the market have increased from 25 to 30 cities to 40 to 45 cities. Ask him. So Blessed,
yeah.
I wanted to just say that you've heard from all the panelists,
yes,
both those who are aligned to NPP and NDC. They've all come to the same conclusion that we have a single-digit inflation. We are not chopping inflation, do we? We don't chop all the macroeconomic indicators. What we chop is what we buy and how we feel. Anytime a government comes into place and refuses to listen to Ghanaians, the same people will end up destroying them and sending them away. And that's what the NDC is doing. They should pay attention. The fortunes are not trickling down for the ordinary Ghanaian to feel. And that should be a worry to them.
I think the concerns being raised here are all legitimate because
you had the individual saying that we should go to the
definitely.
shops to check what's happening.
Governance is a multifaceted sort of enterprise. You know, it cut across a larger spectrum.
Yeah.
But you see, the concerns being raised as against the inflation there is no correlation. When we say inflation, can you find the meaning of inflation?
Oh no, it's just
it's an average rate.
So listen.
Listen. We don't care.
No.
Guys,
how can a youth activist be talking this? He's not a youth activist. Ifan is not a youth activist. You are not a youth activist.
So the point,
allow him to speak.
The point I am making is that you see, the point I'm making is that when you talk about inflation, the average rise in prices going forward, it always takes subsequent effect. It doesn't backtrack. You understand? So when they say inflation has dropped, you don't expect that because the things that were being sold yesterday will drop. Okay, it's high. It doesn't work that way.
It is doubling. It is doubling.
Guys,
I don't make in the market. 13 Ghana cedis, something that was 7 cedis, 99 pesos.
And then
13 Ghana cedis.
So my brother,
no.
Okay, so guys, hold on. Everyone have their say. Ivan, let's close the chapter.
You are fond of doing this. Allow us to run this.
The two of you can't be able to guide me.
Janet, I'll come back to you.
It's very important we educate the masses on this matter.
Ken Ofori Atta is that we have to talk about.
The truth of the matter is that
on the point.
I am married, so food is cooked for me, and so the example that he tried to make, my wife will not be happy about it. But
so you don't buy food?
I don't buy food outside. But even when I do,
every day,
even when I do, let me say that, like Ivan was saying, when we say inflation, it doesn't mean because we are not experiencing disinflation. If it was disinflation, it means the prices has to go down. But the rate, I'm a businessman, fortunately. I'm not too sure a lot of you are businessmen. And I was buying ties last year. And we are in 2026, 2024. If I tell you the experience, you will go to Abu Sokai, you will be standing in front of the Lebanese. And he will be telling you, hold on, let me check dollar price. In your face, he will say that it's 2,000. If you mistake and waste 30 minutes, it will be 2,100. That was the first time I experienced. I had read hyperinflation in books. I experienced it in 2024. So when we are saying that things he is saying it's not true. I heard that I was going to buy it. He says
I bought ties.
You went to buy. You
I bought at the same level.
You do commercial business. I can give you the number.
Me, I went there to buy ties for myself. My company, our company, I buy it.
Guys, Solo would land. Solo would land. I'll give you the opportunity.
The rate
I'll give you the time. I'll give you
the rate of increase has actually
stabilized.
It has been stabilized. We all that we asked for. And indeed, the summation of all that they were saying is that it has to trickle down. And that is where government's intervention is needed.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.